What is up, everybody? Welcome to week number 2 of the Lions Den Quiz League Season 5. This looks so wrong, man. Like, where is my beard? This is this is messed up. Yeah, I have to assume. I mean, I'm gonna have to publish the video where I lose the beard before I publish this one. But dude, I cannot get used to this. Anyway, let's not pay attention to that. Let's pay attention to the quizzes. So quiz number 1 is by Benny, and it is called Tweet, and it has birds in the questions. Question number 1: American band The Byrds started their career by taking heavy influence from some of the great folk artists of the era. Mr. Tambourine Man and Turn, Turn, Turn are named for songs written by different folk artists. Name either one. Mr. Tambourine Man, I believe, is by Bob Dylan. Why is my... Oh, it's because I have caps lock on. Bob Dylan is, well, I mean, I know that Mr. Tambourine Man is a Dylan song. I assume he's the one who wrote it rather than him doing a cover of it. But my dad has sung that song before, so I'm pretty sure it's Dylan. I don't actually know who the other one is by. Question number 2. What is the name of the event in which a group of cardinals are sequestered in the Vatican City to elect a new pope? This is also the title of a film about the election of a new pope. So I have seen ads for this movie, but I have not internalized what the name of it is. So that's kind of sad because it's something I should probably know the name of, but I just don't. The best guess I came up with was Synod, which I think is some kind of religious event, but I don't know what it is, and it doesn't sound right for the name of the movie, but I just can't think of another word that sounds any better to me. So I'm just going to go ahead and guess Synod. Atticus, Scout, and Jem Finch are the main family in what novel? This is To Kill a Mockingbird. And of course, the title would follow the theme because it has Mockingbird in it. Question number 4. When making gooseberry jam, a smart home cook will know that the acidic content of gooseberries means what deadly toxin found in canned foods is unlikely to develop. Cannot grow in most fruit jams, but it doesn't stop many home cooks from being terrified of it. Once again, I do not know. I was thinking it could be something like salmonella or E. coli or something. I don't know if those are toxins. Those are more like bacteria, which I feel like are not the same thing. But I can't think of another thing in foods that makes people sick. But yeah, I don't know. Like, is E. coli, like, is that deadly? Like, I know it makes people sick. Does it kill people? Like, I don't know. But my guess, I'm just gonna say like salmonella, I guess. I just don't have a better guess. I feel like it's either something I've never heard of or something I'm forgetting about, but I cannot think of a better guess here. So yeah, pretty tricky first quiz for me. But we'll see if I can get the last two. I think I have the last two. Robin Williams' only Academy Award win came for a movie in which he plays an older therapist and psychology professor. And then there's a know-it-all main character who's convinced to leave town and pursue a girl. So I'm pretty sure this is the plot of Good Will Hunting. And I'm also pretty sure that Robin Williams is in that movie. So Matt Damon is the main character in Good Will Hunting. I've seen this movie. It was a while ago, but I'm pretty sure that this is what's going on. And finally, question number 6. First mention of the Canary Islands by that name come from what Roman historian who referred to one of the islands as Canaria? The historian who died in the eruption of Mount Vesuvius is Pliny the Elder. I think. I don't think it's Pliny the Younger. I'm pretty sure it's Pliny the Elder. And, I mean, it makes sense. He's famous. He died at Vesuvius. And, yeah, I haven't heard of anything else in the question, but I think that this is... I mean, I've heard of the Canary Islands being like having like a dog etymology, but I didn't actually know that it was Pliny the Elder. Anyway, as for what to enhance, I haven't actually thought about this. To Kill a Mockingbird is easy. I feel like Pliny the Elder is reasonably difficult. Because again, I know like classics things better than most people, and I think that this is not super easy. I mean, he's reasonably famous, but I think Damon is probably pretty gettable. Dylan is probably pretty gettable, or whoever the other one is. And then 2 and 4, I think, are not correct. So I'm going to go with 6. And hopefully the thing behaves and doesn't show my personal information. Also, dude, this is so stupid. Like, does this count? Does this count? Does this count? like, look at this. There's like a little black like pixel here. Like, is that part of the wheel? Does that count? Like, it looks like it's part of the wheel to me, but like, are we counting? Are we counting this? Are we counting this? I mean, these all have every frame here has a motorcycle in it except the top right. I'm gonna go with this. No, okay, cool. Stairs. Good. There were stairs on the pole. It was like a French ladder pole, but I assume that those didn't count. They're not really stairs. Anyway, Bob Dylan, Pete Seeger. Pete Seeger makes sense. Conclave. Dang. I think I've heard the word conclave before, but I don't think I'm ever pulling that. I wouldn't have known. If you asked me what a conclave was, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. Botulinum or botulism. No chance on that. I mean, I've heard the word, but I could not have told you what that was either. But it's 4 out of 6. It is Good Will Hunting, and it is Pliny the Elder. Apparently, you just had to say Pliny, but 4 out of 6. That's fine because I don't feel like I had much of a chance at the other two. I should be paying more attention to movies, but I don't do that. So there you go. All right, quiz number 2. Another general knowledge quiz, this time written by Looney. The most popular species of snail for escargot, Helix pomatia, is named for what historical region of France, which is the namesake of a beef stew braised in red wine. So I think the beef stew is Boeuf Bourguignon. So I figure Bourguignon comes from Bourgogne, which is Burgundy in English. So probably what's going on here, although I don't know the species of snail, so it's kind of a guess. But I think that's what the beef thing is, unless there's another beef stew that I'm not aware of. I'm not very good with French cooking, so I might be wrong, but I think this is probably correct. Porphyrogeniture, a historical form of succession where children born after rulers' ascension to the throne, blah, blah, blah. Derives from a Greek term referencing what color? Associated with royalty because of the rareness of its dye. And the famous rare dye in ancient times was purple. The Tyrian purple is the name of the dye from Tyre that was highly valued. So that's why purple is associated with, like, you know, Roman royalty and, well, just royalty in general. Question number 3. Ancient Romans practicing heliciculture, the farming of snails, kept them in pens called what? Likely more familiar is the name of a snail-shaped biological structure inside the head. So, a snail-shaped biological structure inside the head, the thing that immediately came to me was the cochlea, which is that thing inside the ear that looks like a snail. Makes sense. It says it's sensory, it's inside the head, and I can't think of another thing inside the head that looks like a snail, so I feel like cochlea is almost surely the answer here. I guess it would probably be like cochlea would be the plural, but I'm just going to say cochlea because I don't want to be wrong about that. Question number 4. Messenger Teeny Weeny rides a racing snail, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the hell is going on here. So, yeah. 1984 fantasy film. I thought, what did I think of? I thought of, look, so I'm going to get, like, laughed at for this. I think this is the name of a movie that exists. I have no idea what it's about. I have no idea who, I guess it's Pee Wee Herman, probably. But the problem is I don't know who Pee Wee Herman is. It's just some character from movies. It's probably not fantasy, but it says big adventure, and this sounds very adventure-y, so yeah. I know I'm going to get laughed at for this, and I'm going to get comments like, bruh. But you know what? I don't know what this is. I don't watch fantasy films from the 1980s, so I apologize. Question 5. Believing that snails become telepathically linked once they mate, French occultists used them to design a snail-based version of what kind of device, requiring 52 snails that were mated in pairs. I have no idea what is happening here. Like, literally no clue. The thing that I came up with was pacemaker, which is, like, I guess that thing that you put in your, like, heart or whatever, if your heart is, like, dysfunctional. I don't really know what they are. I just know that they're used for people with heart conditions, which I'm realizing now that it says mid-1800s, which kind of doesn't make sense at all, but I know that it's like an electrical device. But, so, like, this is wrong, but, like, what is this, though? Like, 52 snails made, like, what's a thing that would have 52 units in it? Like a deck of cards? Like, That doesn't make sense. What kind of device? Like, what is going on here? Like, I'm so incredibly lost. This is a stupid guess, but I don't have enough time to think more about this. I thought about it for a little while, and I just came up with absolutely nothing reasonable. So I'm just going to give up. I know that this answer is wrong, but I just don't care anymore. In what country does the town of Kokopo hold an annual shell money festival, celebrating money made from shells of cowrie snails? Anyway, I don't know what any of this is, but it does say East New Britain, and New Britain is an island in Papua New Guinea. So it should just be Papua New Guinea. But that'll be easy because geography and people playing this league know geography. So as for what to enhance, I'll probably go with Cochlea because purple I think is fairly easy. PNG is fairly easy. Burgundy is probably decently hard, but I also am not positive that it's right. So I think that Cochlea is probably the best choice here because 4 and 5 I don't think I have correct at all. So 3 it is. And Papua New Guinea, telegraph. Fascinating. Okay, Cochlea, purple, and burgundy. Okay, so the never-ending story. I've heard of that. Isn't that one from, like, Stranger Things or whatever? The thing that they, like Dustin, like, sings to, like, his girlfriend over the radio or whatever. I don't know what the hell that is. It's a movie. Maybe I should know what happens in that movie, but I have never seen that movie, so unlucky. 4 out of 6 again. Not bad. Again, telegraph, like, yeah, these didn't feel very gettable for me. I don't know enough about what a telegraph is to know how it works or how you could use snails to make one, so I don't know. Question 3, quiz 3. I always say question for some reason. Lead singer John Rzeznik uses the unusual B-D-D-D-D-D tuning for his guitar when he performs the best-selling song off his band's album, Dizzy Up the Girl. Name either the song in question or the band that performs it. I'm not going to play the clip because this channel is monetized now, and if I play the clip, I'm going to get demonetized, but it's like... I can't recreate it, but it's like do 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 do. Anyway, that's a terrible rendition, but it's the intro to Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls, which is a very good song. And I can't recreate it well, but I don't want to get demonetized, so I'm sorry. Question 2. A running gag in the TV show House MD involves Dr. House's assistants suggesting what disease as a possible diagnosis. This is lupus. That's kind of just the running joke on House. I've never seen the show, but this is famous enough that I've heard of it. So yeah, anyway. Lupus. Question 3. NBA Defensive Player of the Year for 23 to 24. Was won by Rudy Gobert, countryman of Rudy Gobert. So Gobert is French. The only other French player I can name in the NBA is Victor Wembanyama, other than, like, I don't know, Tony Parker, but I don't think he even plays anymore. So should be Wembanyama because I mean, 8-foot wingspan makes sense because he's, like, extremely tall. So I think this makes perfect sense. I don't know who else it would be. Question 4, King Dedede, a character who resembles a penguin dressed in red robes, is the self-proclaimed king of Dreamland. Has appeared in Super Smash Bros., but first appeared in what series of video games? So, not positive about this one because I don't play any of these games, but I think Kirby, I don't know, but, like, Dreamland sounds right. I mean, I know that Kirby is a Nintendo character. Dreamland sounds possibly right. And it makes sense that Kirby and associated characters would be in Super Smash Bros. So this is the only reasonable guess I came up with because it's not going to be like Mario or Donkey Kong, I don't think. So should be hopefully Kirby. Question 5, IMDb lists Dee and Adele Dazeem as nicknames for what actress who was Elphaba in Wicked and Elsa in Frozen. The only thing I know here is Elsa in Frozen, but I'm pretty sure Idina Menzel is the person who voiced Elsa in Frozen, because, like, Let It Go is, I don't know, if you, like, look at who's saying Let It Go, it's like, it's her name, so I assume that she is the person who played Elsa. So that's my answer there. And then finally, question 6 is the only one in this quiz I don't feel very good about. Again, 5 out of 6 is perfectly good on a pop culture quiz, but this one, actor Billy D. Williams is best known for originating the role of what character in 2 movies released in the early 1980s. I thought of, what's his name? Jason, from Friday the 13th. I thought it could be like a slasher film. I don't know. I mean, this could be anything, but I think there was a recent remake of Friday the 13th, and 80s sounds about right. So it's I mean I thought for a little while and I didn't think of any better guess. I mean, it could be like Michael Myers or something, or it could be something completely unrelated, but I just couldn't think of anything better. I don't really know what's going on in this question, so that is that. Now, what to enhance is an interesting question here. Honestly, I feel like I go with number 3 because I don't think, again, there are a lot of like Europeans playing these quizzes who would not know the name of an NBA player. So I feel like this is a good thing because I'm quite confident that it's right. I mean, number 1, like that might be hard, but I just don't know how well known that song is. But I think Wembanyama is a pretty safe thing for me to money, so that's what I'll go with. And we will see how it goes, but hopefully, I think 5 out of 6 is what I have here. Lando Calrissian, dang. So it's Star Wars. You know, that makes sense. I mean, obviously it makes sense because it's right, but like, yeah. No, that's reasonable. I didn't think of Star Wars. I should have thought of Star Wars. Would I have gotten it if I had thought of Star Wars? Honestly, still maybe not. I'm guessing the 2018 film is Solo. I mean, it makes perfect sense, really, but that's still difficult. I don't feel that bad about missing it, but 5 out of 6 for a pop culture quiz. I'm totally fine with that. So we will go to quiz 4, which is, I am so lost here. Like, I don't know anything about video games because I don't really play them. I mean, I've played a couple video games and I play like GeoGuessr, but video games are something I'm very, very weak at compared to most things. So honestly, these are gifts from video games. I do not recognize pretty much anything in this quiz. My guess for the first one is Fortnite because the animation looks a little bit like what I associate Fortnite with, and they're carrying weapons, which makes sense, I suppose. And the animation just kind of looks right. Although I've never played Fortnite in my life, nor will I ever play Fortnite, but I think it looks somewhat like this. So that's my guess for question 1. Question 2, I am totally confused. I mean, there's like a dog and a dude, and I have nothing more to say about this. Skyrim was the thing that came to my mind because it's a famous video game, but I don't know what happens in Skyrim. I don't know what Skyrim looks like. I don't know if it has dogs in it. I have no clue. So I'm just gonna go with that. This one, the guess I came up with was Overwatch because I associate Overwatch with characters that look like this with this like comically large armor. But I might be conflating it with like Valorant or something else along those lines. I'm not sure. But I think Overwatch is what I'm going to have to go with here. Question 4, it's clearly a Mario game. I just don't know what's going on. But my best guess is just like Mario Party, I guess. I mean, we have multiple characters. It's clearly not like some Mario Bros game or Super Smash Bros or anything like that. Instead, we are petting a Wiggler, which, like, what? I've never played Mario Party before, but I think it's just more of a chill Mario game that has, like, mini games. So this seems reasonable to me, but it could be some other Mario adjacent thing. I don't know. This one right here, I kind of like my guess. I want to say this is The Last of Us because I know that there's a TV show, fairly recent TV show that was based on The Last of Us, which I think was originally a video game. And I know that the basic premise of the video game is that it's some post-apocalyptic thing where there's a guy who like leads a girl across the country or something. Like they walk a long way together. I don't really know. I should just watch the show because I hear it's quite good. But this looks post-apocalyptic, and there's a dude with a gun, and there's a young girl. So honestly, I feel pretty decent about this guess. And then finally, question 6. Like, I literally have no clue. There is Yeah, mail collection box, and then funny things that you can do to a mail delivery box. Like I just have no clue. I'm gonna guess Half-Life because I know that that is a video game that exists. And I mean I don't know, like there were characters in like the bottom left that looked. Let me see them one more time. Like one of them looks like maybe a zombie. Like is Half-Life a zombie game? Like I feel like it is, but I don't know. Are there zombies? Who knows? Anyway, total guess. Could be right. Probably isn't. But I just don't know anything about video games. I feel like, honestly, if one is Fortnite, it's really easy. Because I feel like everyone knows Fortnite. So I feel confident enough about number 5 that I think I'm going to enhance number 5. Because I think it just makes so much sense to me. But I might be on the complete wrong track. But I don't know. It fits in my head. So I'm going to go with 5. Mountain. Really? Okay. It's just those ones, I guess. Yeah, I know. I know I'm supposed to like to select all 3. Where the hell? This one? Is that a mountain? I guess that's a mountain. Like, bro, these things are actually so ridiculous. How is that wrong? I swear, bro. How is that wrong? Okay, so this one. What's part of the motorcycle? This is part of the motorcycle. This is, I mean, there's like a blue pixel. So this, I mean, it has a shadow. I think the white part counts. The head probably doesn't count. Okay, bicycles. I do not see a single frame with a bicycle. That doesn't look like a bicycle. That looks like a motorcycle. But I assume that the motorcycle is supposed to be a bicycle? Okay. The Last of Us is correct. Mario Party is correct. Overwatch is correct. Fortnite is correct. Okay, you know what? 4 out of 6. That's actually pretty good. I'm actually fine with that. Like, I was not sure about pretty much any of those answers. I felt okay about like Fortnite, Overwatch, and The Last of Us. Mario Party, I mean, it made sense, but I was like, what if it's some other Mario thing? The other two, I've heard of these games, but I don't think I'm ever pulling them. I mean, I could pull the names, but I wouldn't know what they are, what they're associated with. So I think 4 out of 6 is pretty much my ceiling there, and I'm honestly pretty happy with the deduction there because that could have been a lot worse. Okay, question. God, I always say question. Quiz number 5. Pneumono-ultramicroscopic silico-volcanoconiosis, famously an artificially long word that isn't an actual disease, is supposedly contracted by inhaling fine particles from volcanic ejecta. What term refers to solid matter ejected from a volcano? This one has been bugging me because this feels like something I should know, but I just don't know what this is. I have a couple of words that came to mind. One of them was like pyroclast or pyroclastic, because like pyroclastic flow is like Vesuvius or what like when the whole thing just like goes super fast and completely buries everything. That's like the famous like catastrophic volcano scenario. But pyroclast, the problem with that is that it has pyro in it, which means fire. And it says it's derived from the Greek for ash, but it doesn't say anything about fire. So I feel like that's wrong. The only other word I could think of that has to do with volcanoes is the word tuff, which I don't know what this means. I don't think it's right because I think that a tuff is like some kind of like formation, like some kind of geologic formation that comes out of like volcanic activity. So like I don't think that's what's going on here. I think this is some kind of like rock formation, but I do not have a better guess. It could be right because I don't know I don't know the etymology of this word. But I feel like pyroclast/pyroclastic is wrong, and I cannot think of anything better for this. But I don't know. I feel like there's a word I should know, but I just don't. Anyway, Welsh physician Robert Ricord suggested Zenzik to describe the square of a number, and he also coined Zenzik. So if Zenzik is the square of a number, then I assume Zenzik would be the square of a number, so the power of 4. So Zenzik would be squared, squared, squared. So it would be the power of 8. So 2 to the power of 8 is 256. And I figure that has to be what's going on here. Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, it could be like the power of 6 or something, but that seems unlikely because if you square, 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 you get the power of 8. So that should hopefully be what's going on. A chondrolaryngoplasty is a type of surgery that reduces the size of what body part formed by the thyroid cartilage. Commonly done as gender-affirming surgery for trans women. So trans women, like if you're getting rid of a male body part, I mean, thyroid and the root laryngo, like larynx, is like your like vocal cord, like it's your throat. So like, what's a thing associated with men that's in the throat that you would remove? Probably an Adam's apple. This is, I mean, I've never heard of like, the word or anything like that, but I feel like this is a very logical guess. I don't really know what else it would be. So I feel reasonably confident that that's the answer. Anyway, question 4. Many members of the hexachlorocyclopentadiene family of compounds, such as chlordane or heptachlor, were commonly used for what purpose before their harmful effects on the body were discovered? And then, so I didn't know what was going on in that first sentence, but then this word, dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane, this is, I believe, DDT. I'm pretty sure that's just what DDT stands for. So DDT is like, the problem is I'm not actually sure what specifically DDT is. I don't know if I'm supposed to say pesticide or insecticide or fertilizer. Like, I feel like it's one of those things, because it's something that's used in like agriculture, or at least used to be. But I don't know I think it's a pesticide or an insecticide, if there's a difference between those two things. Hopefully there's not a meaningful difference between those two things. I'm just going to say pesticide because it seems more broad. So it seems safer. I hope that I don't need to say insecticide. And I also hope that it's not fertilizer, because I don't actually know the difference between that. I guess fertilizer is not specifically intended for killing insects, but hopefully this is the answer they want, but I'm not actually sure. DLVO theory describes the stability of what type of substance, which include aerosols and emulsions. These are called colloids or colloids. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce that, but colloids that's what an aerosol and an emulsion are. Those are just called colloids. And then question 6, step aside Titan. There's a new largest protein. Primnesin 1 is a toxin derived from Primnesium parvum, which is what type of organism? Blooms of these organisms can create harmful dead zones in marine ecosystems. So this is algal blooms, I think. So like algae. Algal bloom is just like a phrase that I've heard before. I wouldn't have known it from the first sentence, but I think the blooms clue is probably the most helpful thing here. So algae is going to be my answer there. And then as for what to enhance, I'm honestly not sure. 1, I think, is wrong. 2 is too easy, probably. It's easy to figure out. 3 is probably too easy as well. 4 is interesting because, like, people know what DDT is, but do they know what DDT stands for is the question. And I'm not sure if they would. Colloids, like how well known is that word? Damn. I'm honestly not sure what the best answer is here. I think maybe I'm sure 1 would be the best enhance if I actually knew the answer, but I think I'll go with, I should have decided this beforehand, but I'll go with 5, I think, because it's just maybe a harder word to know. I don't know if that's the right decision or not, but on we go. Tephra. Tephra, what the heck? I've never heard the word tephra before. Damn. Yeah. I don't know. That's tough. Pun intended. I'm never getting that, but I feel like tough was maybe not the worst guess of all time, but I was pretty sure it was the wrong thing. Anyway, everything else is right. Pesticides or insecticides, that's fine either way. Colloids, algae, 5 out of 6, solid, good. Okay. Um, Question number one. Hopefully, I don't get demonetized for this, but surely it's fine. Um, anyway, these guys are among the artists who picked Cupid, the god of desire, alongside what goddess of the soul. She had to undergo a series of 4 trials before she could be married to Eros, the Greek counterpart of Cupid. So I think, hopefully, that this is Psyche. The story of Cupid and Psyche is fairly famous. It's told in, I think, The Golden Ass by Apuleius, but that's like where I first heard of that story. But anyway, I've heard it as Cupid and Psyche because that's a Roman work rather than a Greek one. But Eros and Psyche. I hope she has the same name. I mean, either way, this would probably be accepted. But I think Cupid and Psyche is just a famous story. And I can't think of anyone else that Cupid or Eros would be affiliated with, other than like Aphrodite or something. But that's definitely not correct. So hopefully Psyche is the answer here. Question 2. In a ballet premiered in 1877, a woman named Odette is cursed to take a non-human form every day. Blah, blah, blah. But she turns into a swan. This is the plot of Swan Lake. Odette is the main character. I also watched Black Swan recently, which is a good movie. But yeah, Odette is definitely Swan Lake. Question 3. In a Langston Hughes poem, a man sings, "I ain't happy no mo, and I wish that I had died." W.H. Auden poem ends with the line, "Pour away the ocean, sweep up the wood, for nothing now can ever come to any good." Both poems are titled for what emotional state, which also titles a genre of music. So this one took me a second, but I think it's probably blues. I was trying to think of, I mean, they're clearly not very happy. So I was thinking of what are words that, refer to emotional state. I was like, sorrow, sadness, etc. And I thought of blues, and I was like, wait a second. Yeah, that makes sense. Genre of music. And then I realized I think the Auden poem is called Funeral Blues. I think that's a thing by Auden. I wouldn't have thought of that off the top of my head, but I was kind of able to back solve what the poem was. Question 4. The Rossini aria Largo al Factotum is sung by a character with what first name, who also appears in an opera by Mozart. So I think this is going to be Figaro, from The Marriage of Figaro. I mean, that's the Mozart thing. The Rossini thing is it the Barber of Seville? I think it's the Barber of Seville. I'm not actually sure which Rossini thing it is, but I'm pretty sure Figaro is a character in multiple operas, so it makes sense. Question 5. This painting is kind of wild, but anyway, it's by Goya, and it's called Saturn Devouring His Son, which is just, I don't know. I just know this because A, it's famous, and B, it's memorable, to say the least. Question number 6. Characters in Shakespeare's plays The Merchant of Venice and Othello describe jealousy as having what trait? Iago describes it as a monster with this trait, while suggesting that Othello's wife is being unfaithful. So Iago says jealousy is the green-eyed monster. So yeah, green-eyed. I'm pretty sure the quote from Othello is jealousy is the green-eyed monster that something something. I forget the rest of the line, but green-eyed monster is a fairly well-known line. That said, I still think it's probably the hardest question in here. Maybe question 1 is hard. I mean, I don't think Psyche is particularly easy, but Cupid and Psyche, I feel like that's kind of well known, but again, I'm biased because I like sort of studied this, but I feel like green-eyed, like, this is pretty niche. Like, I've seen Othello and read it like a couple times, so this isn't that obvious, I don't think. So I think 6 is probably the play here. But who knows? All right, green-eyed, Saturn, Figaro, blues, Swan, Psyche. Okay, that's 6 out of 6. Beautiful. That is what I was hoping for there. So happy with that result. And finally, quiz number 7. We have current events quiz, which I am not very good at current events, but this quiz isn't particularly hard. I mean, the average score is fairly high, which is good because, again, hard current events quizzes would not treat me very well. Anyway, after Elon Musk refused to comply with Brazil's crackdown on misinformation, federal judge Alexandre de Moraes, I don't know how you say his name, but either way, he froze the assets of what non-Brazilian internet providing service to pressure Musk into compliance. I have literally no clue. I was like, I don't know, internet providing service. I thought of like Comcast because that's like the big one in the US. And I have no better guess than that, so Comcast it is. Question 2. Film Megalopolis, an epic drama conflating New York with the Roman Empire, is the latest work by what director? His daughter directed Priscilla in 2023. So the only father-daughter director pair that I can think of is Francis Ford Coppola and Sofia Coppola. So I assume this is Francis Ford Coppola, unless it's another father-daughter director pair, in which case, tough, but I'm not going to know it. So surely this is what I say. Question number 3, 2024 Nobel Prize in Literature went to an author whose original works, such as Human Acts and The Vegetarian, were written in what language? The word Hallyu refers to a wave of popularity regarding cultural works originally from this language. So this one, like, I was pondering for a bit. Hallyu kind of sounds like East Asian to me. Like I thought it could be Chinese, Japanese, Korean, that kind of thing. But it's kind of weird. Like the double L is really strange. Like I thought it sounded Chinese at first because like the U ending sounds very Chinese, but the double L is like very not Chinese. So I thought maybe it's more Korean. Like again, the double L feels not Japanese either. But it feels more possible for Korean. Like Korean romanization is very like I don't know inconsistent and kind of I think it's not Korean is a hard language to romanize from what I've heard. But I do like Jeolla province, for example, in like southwestern Korea, or north and south Jeolla, have the double L in them. So I'm like aware at least of Korean words that have double L's in them, whereas in like Chinese and Japanese, I can't think of anything that makes any sense. I can't wait to go through that entire spiel and then have the answer be something that is absolutely nowhere close to East Asia, but it sounds East Asian to me, and this romanization looks more Korean to me than anything else. But it could be like we could be like in India or I don't know. I mean, if it's a language, like would it be Hindi? Would it be Bengali? I don't know. The word just sounds. I don't know how to explain it. It sounds more East Asian to me, but I could be entirely wrong. It could be India. It could be we could be in Africa. We could be in it could be like Aboriginal Australia. Probably not that one, but the point is there are options here. But I couldn't think of anything better than Korean, so Korean's what I'm going to go with. Question 4, from sunset on Friday, October 11th to Saturday, October 12th, millions of people around the world celebrated what holiday that takes place on the 10th of Tishrei and marks the end of the High Holy Days? I have no idea what's going on here. It sounds possibly Jewish. It also could be like Indian, like it could be like Holi or Diwali or something. But my thought was that it's maybe one of the Jewish holidays. The next problem is I don't know the difference between any of the Jewish holidays. We did get days off for some Jewish holidays at school. And I remember there were a couple of them in the fall. So I think Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are the ones that happen in the fall, if I'm not wrong. I could be completely wrong, so I do apologize if I'm saying nonsense here. But I think it's maybe hopefully one of them if it is a Jewish holiday at all. So I'm just going to try Rosh Hashanah and then be sad if it's Yom Kippur or something else. But to be honest, I have no idea how to choose between them because I know very little about what the holidays are actually about. Question 5, it is impossible to find a better teammate, said Feliciano Lopez when being interviewed about what athlete's recent announcement that he plans to retire later this year. This should hopefully be Rafael Nadal, Spanish tennis player who's one of the greatest of all time. Feliciano Lopez sounds Spanish, so it makes sense. And I mean, I think Nadal just kind of fits the bill for this question. And then finally, 2 viral cute animals took the world by storm, Pesto and Mu Deng. Mu Deng is a hippo, or hippopotamus, I guess. A single word answer is sufficient, so that's good. I think he's like a pygmy hippopotamus, and he's like small. Is it a he, she? I don't know, to be 100% honest, but yeah, it's just a famous Thai hippo, so that's what I'm going to go with here. I'm just going to say hippopotamus. I have no idea who Pesto is. I don't really care, to be 100% honest, about either of these animals, but they are animals that exist and are viral on the internet, but I am not on the internet. Well, I mean, I'm on the internet, but I'm not in the corners of the internet that are obsessing over random animals. So Um, I don't know much about them, but this Moo Deng has been literally unavoidable, like all over the place. So it's kind of hard to miss. Anyway, uh, so that one's easy. Nadal is easy. You know, man, one I just don't feel. One is probably wrong. Four could be right, but I just like I don't. It could also be like Purim or like what else? Like Passover. I don't think it's Passover. It could be like Sukkot or something. There's a lot of Jewish holidays. Um, so I don't feel great about that one. Um, Korean, like, man, Korean. I feel like that's a decent guess, but again, I don't have enough confidence that this is actually a Korean word. It could easily be something else. I think I have to go with two, which is I really don't think that's that hard of a question, but five and six I think are too easy, and then one and four I think are just too likely, and three as well are too likely to be wrong. So yeah, two it is. And then we'll submit the final quiz. If I ever get the captured nonsense right. All right. Starlink. What the hell is Starlink? It's Yom. Of course, it's Yom Kippur. Of course. Okay. Well, Korean was right, so I'm happy about that. I'm not happy about question four because I certainly was thinking about it, but I just didn't know which one to guess. And then penguin, sure, wouldn't have known, but hippopotamus, Rafael Nadal, Coppola. What is Starlink, bro? Is that just like an Elon Musk thing? I mean, it makes sense that like, if he's trying to threaten Elon Musk that he would boycott something that is associated with Elon Musk, but I'll be honest, I do not know what Starlink is, but it's probably just some random Elon Musk nonsense. So, yeah, there you go. That is going to be it for the quizzes. But oops, I almost just closed the window. No, we're good. But I guess I will see you guys shortly, and we will see how I did. I think it was pretty good. I'm probably above 34.8, although I'm not sure if I'm at 38. So my guess is I'm in fifth, although it's possible that I did a little better than I realized, and I could be 38, 39, maybe 40, but probably not quite that high. Anyway, it was a fun set of quizzes, and I will see you guys very soon, and we will see how I did for the week. Alrighty, so here are the final results for week number 2. I did, as predicted, finish in 5th place. There's a bit of a gap between the top 4 and the rest. But, yeah, reasonably happy with the performance. I mean, I think that there were a couple quizzes and questions that were not as up my alley this time. Of course, week 1 had a math quiz and a geography quiz. This week did not, but I think on the whole, it was pretty solid. Most of the ones that I missed, I didn't feel that bad about missing because it felt like they were out of reach, given what I know and don't know. But yeah, I think on the whole, pretty good week. Congrats to Rasmus, Sawyer, and Pissman for the top 3 finishes. But season standings after 2 weeks, I am in 2nd place, just ahead of Pissman, and about 4 points behind the GOAT himself, Rasmus. But definitely happy with the results for the first couple of weeks, and we'll see if we can keep it going in week number 3. But for now, thank you all, as always, for watching and participating in the league. Thank you to Benny and Looney for another really fun week of questions, and I will see you guys very soon in week number 3. Bye.